Gifu. Gifu. Spinning ball? Well, if you don't... Hey, King Tut. Do you know that the pyramids prove we don't live on a spinning ball? Well, if you don't agree with me, stick around. You might just change your mind. Let's first look at how old the mainstream tells us the pyramids are. Mainstream likes to tell us that the pyramids are about 4,500 years old. But there have been other researchers that have thought way different. Other researchers, such as Graham Hancock, who say the pyramids could be as old as 12,000 years old. Researchers such as Belgian-born Robert Bauval, who not only believed the pyramids to be 12,000 years old, but also, in 1979, was the first one to ever realize that the pyramids coordinated perfectly with the 7 stars of Orion's belt. So much so that the size of the pyramids were determined by the luminosity of the stars. And not only were the sizes of the pyramids built based on the luminosity of the stars, but the distances between them were also based on the distances between the stars. And 12,000 years later, we find that those pyramids are still perfectly aligned with Orion's belt. So much so that there's only a 0.067 degree fault. I would like to ask you how that is possible when the Earth in the heliocentric model is supposedly moving in several different ways. First, it is rotating on its axis at 1,000 miles per hour. Then it is rotating supposedly around the sun at 67,000 miles per hour. Next, it is hurling through the galaxy at 400,000 miles per hour. And not only that, it is hurling through the universe at an amazing speed of 2 million miles per hour. Never to return to the same spot, ever. I ask you, how is that possible on the model of the Earth that we live in? And I give you the answer. The stars, the moon, the sun, the wandering stars that we now call planets, they have always been here, circling us, because the night sky circles us and returns year after year after year to the exact same position. We do not live on a spinning ball. We live in a realm with all the night sky here for us, created for signs and wonders. And you have a creator, and you are here for a purpose, and the world is your oyster. Once you just figure out that you are not here by mistake, created from a big bang, evolved from monkeys. It's time to figure it out, because it changes your view, it changes your perspective, it changes your priorities.
The Earth is curved, right? And it's going straight, and the Earth is curving.
You a flat earther?
I'm a flat earther.
Are you a flat earther?
Yeah. You a flat earther?
No, these motherfuckers should never get hit in the head again. Flat earthers. Y'all have been around the world and should know that the Earth is round.
That's how
you know it's flat.
So what happens? You just run into a wall?
Well,
That's
if
physics.
the Earth is curved, right, and it's going straight, and the Earth is curving, at some point, wouldn't it fly off into space if it didn't tilt down?
I got to ask you just one question. Listen, what is a plane?
An airplane.
I ain't said airplane.
Oh, a plane. Okay, that's flat. A flat surface. Okay, I got you.
And what is an airplane? No, be honest. Answer the question. What is the airplane?
So if you air over a plane, then I would take it, right?
Right. So what did it say? What did it say? Put it together.
Airplane.
So
10-8,
you an air
Graham
flying over a plane. What does sea level mean?
Okay, so level. See, let me ask you a
Is
question.
it called sea curve?
Let me get this right.
He got cooked.
No, hey, you got
get
cooked.
He's cooked.
Hey,
He's cooked.
hey,
Where's
you
me?
got
Where's
cooked.
me?
Medium well or extra well done.
For websites that
Y'all always ask me how I'm
You know wrestling.
What's your pushback hairline?
What can you tell us about a certain Arcturian city which initiated the Starseeds?
This city is a crystal city. And so the center of the city has this 40,000 foot crystal spire, and then the rest of the city is built around that. And the reason they do that is it handles all of their power requirements, and then this very resonant frequency is held within the city. And that resonant frequency that's held within the city is for their consciousness. And on the outside of the city are what they call communospheres. So they're big spheres. They're hooked in a ring around the city. And then communities live inside these spheres.
How big are these spheres?
So we live in this little place called Port Orchard. There's, I believe we have like 10,000 people that live in that area. And he said we could fit Port Orchard in one of the spheres.
Oh, wow.
So it's got to be fairly good size. But it's, they have these, for lack of a better word, living spaces that are inside these spheres. And it maintains a resonance that keeps them consciously connected. And so, like they say, whatever they learn in some elevated knowledge form gets transferred to all of the spheres.
Seen the evidence. What if I told you one last time that we never landed on the moon in 1969? You've seen the evidence. This is part 5, and make sure to watch the other videos. Now let's put it all together. Here are the 5 strongest facts that prove the moon landing was a Hollywood production. Stay until the end, as the last one will blow your mind. Number 1, the missing moon landing. Tapes erased forever. NASA lost the most important footage in human history. Not just some of it, all of it. The original Apollo 11 recordings, the telemetry data, the files proving we went gone. How do you accidentally erase the greatest achievement in space exploration unless there was never anything real to erase? Number 2, the flag that shouldn't move. In NASA's footage, the American flag is waving, but there's just one problem. There's no air on the moon, no wind, no atmosphere. Nothing NASA's excuse. They say it was just how the flagpole was designed. But if that's true, why does the flag move even after the astronauts let go? It's almost like it was filmed in a studio. Number 3, the Van Allen radiation. Belt a barrier. We still can't cross to reach the moon. Astronauts had to pass through an insanely radioactive zone surrounding Earth. NASA claims a thin aluminum shield protected them. But today, astronauts still can't pass through the radiation belts without serious risk. So if we supposedly solved this problem in 1969, why haven't we sent humans back in over 50 years? Because maybe we never left Earth in the first place. Number 4.
Did you know that just before JFK's motorcade entered Dealey Plaza, 2 Secret Service agents were unexpectedly ordered to step away from the back of the president's vehicle? Footage from earlier in the route shows them riding on the car's rear bumper, a standard security measure, but at the last second, they were waved off, leaving JFK completely exposed. One of the agents, clearly confused, even throws up his hands as if to ask, "Why are we doing this?" But the order stood. The question is, who gave that order? And why would they remove protection at the most vulnerable point in the route? Was this a simple mistake or part of something larger? If only we knew where to look.
I was sickened. I was sickened by the standing ovation. I felt like Hollywood is just...
Tell them the truth. I hope you find some paradise. Tell them the truth.
Alright, so I'm going fairly high on the SP2, right? To the right? Just going on the head, all set. Yeah, but above the trillion business or below? Right, I'll just say that's fine.
don't own land. If you want to own the land and actually own it so that even God can't touch it, you have to buy the property or the car or the jet plane, whatever it is you're buying. You have to get it under allodial title. Allodial title, you can buy a car, you can buy a jet plane, you can buy a house, but you buy it under what is called allodial title. And I've seen that done because I had a guy buy me a car not too long ago, and we went into the agency and he says, I want to buy him a car. And so the guy said, okay. And so I picked out the car I wanted, and the guy buying it for me said, we want this allodial title. And the sales manager said, fine, okay, we'll have to go back and go get the paperwork. He went back and got the special paperwork, came out and says allodial title. Allodial simply means nobody, including God or Jesus, can touch this property. You own it.
There's something the elites are trying to keep from you.
Every time you go and pay your utilities, you are
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so glad that
There's something the elites are trying to keep from you. Something that could change everything.
There goes another person, guys. No, I'm across the street, so I have seen the whole, I saw when the building started exploding and the debris started flying, and I could see parts of what looked like to me a plane, and as it was exploding, I was afraid at our window, the debris was hitting against our window. I was afraid that part of it was going to break through, it was on fire, and yes, I was, and the entire building shook. And I'm from California, I thought earthquake. I look up and the window is completely filled with flames and debris. You can hear more explosions.
They have hidden this from you. In the early 1900s, bells across the world were collected, melted down, destroyed. They said it was to fuel the war machine, to meet metal demands. But what if there was something more? Something they didn't want us to know. Bells have long held a purpose beyond just marking the hour. Their sounds were said to clear dark energy, raise our vibrations, and help us reach higher realms. They connected us to something larger, something ancient. Fully aware of this power, those in control removed these bells from our world, aiming to dull our spirits, to keep us in a lower vibrational state. By taking these instruments, they took away a piece of our collective consciousness, and it didn't stop there. In 1953, the world's standard musical frequency was changed from 432 Hz to 440 Hz. Why the shift? At 432 Hz, many believe music naturally resonates with Earth's frequency, creating harmony, clarity, even healing. But at 440 Hz, that resonance shifts. It's sharper, unsettling, some say disruptive, the kind of sound that unravels rather than unites. Without the bell's harmony, without the music that heals, many believe we've been left disconnected, cut off from the divine, adrift in a world with hidden barriers between us and something more.
What if I told you the Eiffel Tower's true purpose has been hidden from us for over a century? The tower isn't just a landmark or just some tourist trap. No. This thing was built as a giant antenna. Most folks believe it's just a fancy symbol of Paris, of steel and progress. But no, its secrets, if known, could have changed everything. The tower was finished in 1889 for the World's Fair. A temporary exhibit, they said. But here's where it twists. Tesla himself visited Paris in the 1880s. Yes, Nikola Tesla, the man who wanted to give the world free energy. And during that visit, he met with Gustave Eiffel, shared his wild ideas, wireless electricity, power through the air, no wires, no grid. Eiffel, he listened, and he built. That open lattice design, it's not just for looks. It's function, a resonator, a conductor. And then the reports began. Strange lights, electric hums in the night, sparks dancing on metal, locals whispering of secret experiments after dark, newspapers dropping hints, then silence. The truth is simple and buried. The Eiffel Tower wasn't just a tower. It was a machine. A missed revolution in plain sight. This is just
It's not actually the North Pole. The North Pole's been sailed every year for 30 years. It's off from the North Pole several hundred miles. This is in a region that's never been sailed before. It's between the magnetic North Pole and the actual North Pole. The waters are reported to be the roughest on the planet, so we're talking 10-story seas. This is not going to be a pleasure cruise by any stretch of the imagination. We'll be breaking ice for 8 days to get there. So it's not an easy place to get to. It's not actually the
in the underground city that could hold 30,000 people at Derinkuyu. And when you go to the deepest level at Derinkuyu, there's a tunnel shaft that connects and leads out for miles in different directions to hundreds of underground cities, hundreds of them, with ventilation shafts, over 14,000 ventilation shafts that go from the surface to the deepest of levels, made with some type of sophisticated technology. Not to mention the fact that these 12 stories deep beneath the ground, the design and the style of construction is so intricate and so advanced. These people had foreknowledge on how to build this, because you can't take the resources of a civilization to build Derinkuyu, which is the same level of building a pyramid, and go down there and let it collapse on you and make your cave into a grave. And then to connect these things in underground tunnels that go miles deep for miles out, we're talking about a super advanced civilization. In the underground Lemuria, when you look at the culture coming out of the Aboriginals out of Australia, even the Aboriginal elders that I've talked to still have
We have a lot of similarities. What if I told you the reason pigs' eyes look so human is more disturbing than you think? Think about it. Pigs don't just have human-like eyes. They have human-like skin, human-like organs, human-like emotions. But no one asks why. No one stops to question it. Yet, when you lock eyes with certain pigs, when you really look at them, something feels off. Too aware, too familiar. Like there's something, someone trapped behind that gaze. And maybe there is. See, pigs aren't just similar to humans. They are too similar. Their skin, used for burn grafts, their heart valves, transplanted into human bodies, their organs, so close to ours that scientists are now experimenting with full pig-to-human organ transplants. Coincidence? That's what they tell you. But if it's just coincidence, why does every part of them feel like a compatible version of us? And it's not just physical. It's their minds, too. Pigs recognize their own names. They dream. They mourn their dead. They cry for lost companions. Some have even been caught playing video games. Not for food, not for survival, but out of sheer boredom. So tell me, why? Why is there an animal walking around with human-like organs, human-like skin, human-like emotions? We have a lot.
Vamos a conectar Y esto está funcionando.
The moon was brought here 12,000 years ago. Our moon is in fact an artificial satellite. It is not a real planet. It can literally leave our orbit underneath its own power. According to the Andromedans, it was brought here from Ursa Minor, from a star system called Chauta that had 21 planets in it. It belonged to the 17th planet and it was one of 4 moons. Now, there are ruins all over it. The map is there. There are some pictures there. There's a lot more, which I don't have today. But it will be coming out. This is why the Apollo astronauts stopped going back. It's because there was somebody already there and they were told not to go back. This information is out there. Okay, our moon is 9.1 billion years old. 9.1 billion years old. It is in fact older than the Earth. Okay, many of the materials that have been found on the moon, minerals, don't exist on our planet. The moon did not belong to part of the Earth.
As the plane approaches the South Tower, notice carefully the belly of the plane. There appears to be something attached, and just as it hits the building, there's a flash. Let's take another look in super slow motion.
Let's look at this photograph that was taken near Ground Zero. On the right, we see the South Tower, and the smoke that's rising into the sky is emanating from the North Tower, which is completely hidden from view. On the left, just entering the field of vision of the camera, we see the plane just before it hits the South Tower. Note a couple of items here. The engine on the right wing has a shadow, and the shadow moves towards the front of the plane and off of the plane. So the anomaly that appears to be attached to the belly of this plane could not be caused by a shadow. Also note that the item that appears to be attached to the belly of this plane is on the right side. This plane has something that is not symmetrical on the bottom of the plane. When we compare that with the bottom of a regular 767, we'll note that a normal 767 has a belly that is smooth.
The most disturbing problems in our world today is human trafficking.
I've been studying UFOs. Did you know there are UFOs out here flying around unidentified?
It began when this woman was...
Do you believe in government conspiracies?
Oh, absolutely.
No, I'm serious.
No, definitely. No, oh my God.
I read that you felt that the...
In everything I've seen...
And Tommy Mottola.
$25 a month. What are you waiting for? Go to puretalk.com/Owens and make the switch to Pure Talk. Wireless by Americans for Americans. I realized that a lot of you guys might have no idea who the heck I am. And I also realized that based upon talking about the shrimp industry, there's a whole lot of other stuff that I kind of came up on, stories that I used to cover all the time, that we should probably revisit, teach you a little bit about where I come from, and teach you a little bit about what's in your baby food, as well as all the other products in your grocery store aisles. So here's one of the first TikTok videos I ever made that summed up the whole first dig I did into grocery store aisles and into who really owns everything and what are they putting in everything. After we discovered that Target has entire shelves of shampoo that are all owned by the same mega corporations, I decided to go look at a bunch of other products that we put on our bodies and into our various holes. Because we all get the sense that this is just the illusion of choice, but it's different when you actually see it like this. Like the whole shelf of deodorant at Rite Aid that has like 3 options that are not mega corporations, but several that are specifically branded to look like they're natural and legit, like Schmidt's or Tom's of Maine. By the way, the women's deodorant was the exact same story. One option hiding down there in the bottom. I went to the skincare aisles of several stores. They purposely brand it to look like it's medical and like doctor formulated. They advertise all over the place that it's trusted by experts, you know, formulated by doctors that work for Procter & Gamble and trusted by experts that work at Unilever. Even at high-end beauty stores like Ulta, I only found 2 types of shampoo that were female or founder or family owned. The rest are owned by mega corporations and billionaire private equity, who I'm sure care a lot about your hair care and your health. They would never include carcinogens and toxic chemicals in their products. Obviously, all the class action lawsuits you can find on Google are just fear. But in some aisles, there are founder and family-owned brands made by real people that actually care about you, hiding amongst all of these other mega corporations designed to blend in. And so what I did is I started making spreadsheets and giving them out for free on my website with all the different types of, you know, health and with all the different types of skincare, personal care products, shampoos, with lists of the different brands that we all consume on a daily basis and whatever mega corporations or businesses own those brands. Because I'm not trying to say that all of these brands are necessarily horrible for you. I'm just trying to say that when you buy these brands, your money is going to these mega corporations. And mega corporations pretty much all play by the same corporate playbook. Target's top shareholders are Vanguard, State Street, and BlackRock, along with a bunch of like investment banks and private equity funds. In about 4 hours of work, their CEO makes as much as the average Target worker makes in an entire year, which only totals up to like $17.5 million in 2023. I mean, poor guy got a pay cut. How is he going to afford the mortgage on his extra condo in the Caribbean? He might even have to sell one of the yachts. To be clear, that was a joke. I don't know if Brian owns any yachts. Not trying to spread misinformation, TikTok, just pure facts. I'm sure Brian is a great guy. And a lot of people misunderstand my message as being like capitalism is evil and capitalism is the devil, and that's not really what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is that capitalism is what we make it with our capital. And when we all support giant monopoly mega corporations, we help to prop up this version of capitalism that is actually much more like corporate oligarchy. And we inherently have the power to change it, or at least to push on it. If we stop spending our money on this and start giving more of our money to companies like this, we can very much change the world, which I know sounds corny, but it's true. The reason why megacorporations do this is so that they can maximize the chances of the most of our money being spent on their product. But we all have the power to go into this aisle and to find that one little spot where the real companies owned by real people are hiding and to spend our money on those products. Because that money does not go to multi-million-dollar CEO bonuses. It goes to employees at real companies that actually take care of their people. It goes to voting for products that are not filled with chemicals that cause hair loss that then let those same companies turn around and sell you products to prevent hair loss. I'm not making that up. The aisle at Target has both those products, both owned by the same companies, both on the same shelf, right next to each other. I can't imagine why. So I know times are tight for a lot of people. I know the economy is horrible and it's probably going to get worse. But personal care products are a great place to start changing your spending habits, because it's not like food that you have to consume every day and you have to spend tons and tons and tons of extra money to buy better brands. You just have to buy, a better brand once a month. Every couple weeks. This is a multi-billion-dollar industry. It's massive. And if we all start voting in it with our dollars, we stand to change everything. 2023 was pretty depressing, and I guarantee you 2024 is going to be just as or more depressing. But my 2024 is going to be all about things that we can do to change, to make the world a better place. And we all know the world is run by money. So start using yours to promote businesses that make the world better, not worse. What a throwback. That is where your boy comes from. And that's what I really got started on when I made my first TikTok video is, how does this world work and who owns all the stuff that we use? And over time, as I looked at more and more products and more industries and just started learning about where all this money goes, I started to notice the patterns and notice how it works and notice solutions. One of my favorite places to start this dig that wasn't quite mentioned in that one is Hidden Valley Ranch. Who do you think owns Hidden Valley Ranch? And I want to invite you to search that on the internet, because all of you can do this research too. And it's not hard. You can do it in the grocery store on your phone. You can do it right now on your computer. But when you look up who owns Hidden Valley Ranch, you'll get a screen something like this, and you'll find out that it's owned by Clorox, the bleach company. But that's not the top of the chain. You look up who owns Clorox, and you'll find out that it is a public company, like the kind of company you can buy stock in, right? And the word you need to look up in order to figure out who owns a public company is you need to look up Clorox institutional ownership. And when you do that, you get to screens like this, or you can go to a website that'll actually give you the full list, and it's not hard to find. And when you go to a website like Yahoo Finance and you find the full list, you're going to notice something pretty quick. The top shareholders of basically every company in America are Vanguard, BlackRock, and State Street. But BlackRock actually owns State Street, so it's just Vanguard and BlackRock. And then below that is always all the banks, fund managers, private equity, etc. And all of them are nothing like any of us. And the more you do this and look around, the more you'll realize that these same financial institutions are at the top of basically every public corporation in America, right? Even ones that you think were natural and family or founder owned, like Dave's Killer Bread, nope, got bought out a long time ago by Flowers Foods. And when you look at Flowers Foods, Vanguard and BlackRock are the top shareholders. You keep doing this over and over for different industries, and pretty soon you notice that all kinds of different companies, food and beverage, banks, big tech, every single one of these little squares inside of these bigger squares are big companies that you will recognize the names of, and you can probably zoom in on some of them, and the red highlights are Vanguard, BlackRock, State Street, and all the other names on those lists are their buddies. Notice there's even funeral and hospice care. They have water and utilities. They've got just about every aspect of our lives locked down in a big way. The entire market is kind of just one big conglomerated game where they all play their parts and they all have their different corporations, but they all are.
So why don't you just will you put your left hand on the Bible and swear to God that you walked on the moon?
Gentlemen. Mr. Cybro.
Yes? If you really walked on the moon, why would you not do that? So why don't you just put the end to the record in the argument and put your hand on the Bible, swear to God you walked on the moon?
Mr. Cybro, knowing you, that's probably a fake Bible.
Really? Well, no, it's a real Bible. You have the opportunity to have $5,000.
The meeting is not open.
Well, you have $5,000 cash. You can give it to charity if you swear on the Bible that you walked on the moon.
Please
I have
give
the
it to
tape.
charity. It'd be fine.
Why don't you swear to? Why not? Why won't you do it? So why don't you put your hand on the Bible and swear to God that you walked on the moon?
Mr. Cybro has made a fool of himself in front of the world. Mr. Cybro, you do not deserve.
Will you put your left hand on the Bible and swear to God that?
Oh my God, we find the hidden city under the ice. Amazing.
Exactly, perfect. He's getting something worse than get thought. More stupid to the front door. That's not some sign of
The Subic sequences include sinus wave, not what is the reason for?
Never forget this moment.
It's literally moving towards the tornado. Honey, it's moving towards the tornado. This is a tornado forming. This thing goes crazy. And then after this, this tornado actually goes away. What is this doing?
Pretty amazing shot as that looks in. Can you still see, Josh? Looks like it maybe trying to rope out just a little bit.
And then he walks in front of it.
You're almost all the way to the ground though. And look, it's starting to twist there just a little bit.
What is it? It's literally moving towards the tornado. Honey, it's moving towards the tornado.
It's amazing that it can come down that far. But yeah.
I'm watching this white spot. There's this white spot right here. That is a part of it, and it's slowly getting closer. It's about to hit the tornado. No, it's right there. That white spot. It's literally just got into it. Well, look.
What's happening is you're now getting the rain and the cooler air. It's two of them. See this in the mid layers?
Yes.
Starting to choke off.
Oh.
So looks like that we could be on a weakening phase. We may be cycling again. And in about 10-15 minutes, it may try to do this again.
And it does.
Yeah, this is northeastern parts.
But whatever this is, broke all of this apart. Was this like a cold air current? Like what the heck? This is a tornado.
Here it is, video footage of the Serpent's Gate, also known as the entrance of the ice wall, also known as the Summer's Gate because it opens up at a certain period of the summer where the sun gets so close to Antarctica that it melts an opening in the ice wall, creating an entrance. And I was thinking, you know, I can't trust anyone anymore, so I think I'm just gonna get in a boat, spend like $4K on it, get a single person boat, and sail all the way down from the Mississippi in Minnesota, which is where I'm at now, and sail all the way down there to Antarctica. It'd only take about 3 months, and I could make videos along the way. And then I could reach this place and then probably get kicked out by the military and probably get arrested, so that's why it's a super risky thing. But let me show you a super interesting video I found where these two guys went to the ice wall themselves, and then a giant wave generator was created and basically forced them to get away. Now this is probably what would happen if I went here alone and just tried to go straight up to the ice wall, because they got these secret technology underneath the water and it creates this giant wave. Check this out. This is unlike anything I've ever seen before. They use probably a free energy device because this would take a huge amount of energy. And look at this, a huge artificial wave that forces these guys in this tiny little boat to get away because they're obviously hiding something over there. So that's why this is such a huge topic, because it's so obvious that they don't want us going to Antarctica, and they put all these traps in place for us so that we're not able to go. So this is why I made another video about how I need a giant cargo ship, but that costs like $1 million and I don't have that. So I think probably the better idea is just to try and figure out a way to get past this on a tiny 4K boat by myself. Also because I've had a few spies I've noticed lurking around my TikTok.
At this point, anybody can be in disguise. Check this out, y'all. They can make anyone look like anybody. As always, thanks for watching. Stay weird. At this point, anybody. Shaq just glitched on live television.
Oh man, I know they got an excuse for this.
Stylings of
Look at
Victor
Shaq this whole
Oladipo,
time.
who is the reigning two-time
I'm trying to tell you,
champion
man,
of
this
the
happened too
All-Star
much in Hollywood.
Weekend,
Look.
player talent show.
You are talented. I give you a little credit on that. A lot of credit. You're very talented. I mean, you're not a karaoke guy like me, but you can actually. You know they call me a
acting like
brown
they
eye,
don't
right?
even see him.
as a matter of fact, you both have experience singing New York, New York. His was at the Slam Dunk
man
contest.
right
Yours
here.
was in Vegas.
Yes.
We had the show out
Control
there.
or something,
Here's just a
man.
little sampling.
Spreading the
Shaq's still stuck right now, bro.
I'm leaving today.
Jordan Peele movie shit.
To be
Trolling somebody. This is some they call Tyrone looking ass shit, man. Watch this. The whole time he was still stuck.
See, I
He's
love to
still
do
there stuck.
karaoke. That's good, isn't it?
You see those two mics
Yeah.
back there?
You made up your own words.
Shaq